And welcome to Lake Norman Charter for some high school football action on this Friday night. Tonight we have the 3-1 Lake Norman Charter Knights versus the 1-3 Christ the King Crusaders. As number 2 Daniel Schneibel is getting ready to kick this one off and start the game. The Crusaders will start with the ball, and that ball is booted. And that will be in the back of the end zone for a touchback. Coming on to the field is Nick Wilson, the man leading the Crusaders tonight. Wilson, 451 yards on the year, 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Wilson not much of a threat with his legs, so watch for him to drop back in the pocket and air it out deep as we await the first play of the game tonight. As the Crusaders will have 2 to the far side of the field from the camera. That ball will be handed off, and for about a gain of 1, if they're lucky, about 1 or 2 yards. And that will bring it to second down and about 9 or 8. The weather tonight, right now, 68 degrees, a real feel of 67. It's going to get colder throughout the night. And by the end of this game, it might get to 56 or 53. As the Crusaders will break their huddle. In the 2nd and 7 scenario, as we see Wilson under center, Wilson will give that ball, and that will get wrapped up by multiple Knights. And that will leave the Crusaders with a 3rd and long on their first possession and a chance to go 3 and out. And have to boot that ball back to Cameron Ryerson in the Knights offense. Christ the King right now on a 2-game losing streak. Those going to Bessemer City and Carver. Carver, a close game, 32-26. 76 points for and 115 points allowed. As now we're here in the I formation. Wilson will take the handoff, drop back, and that will be low. And that will result in a 4th down and 8. And the special teams unit will come on the field for both teams. And we see Tyler Price dropping back at about the midway logo at the 50-yard line and receive this punt. And the Knights might have field position inside the Crusaders 50 to start this ball game. As if Ryerson could drive down to the field, that would be a dream start for the Knights. And now the Crusaders will punt that ball away. A line drive pick to Tyler Price. Price at the 45, passes the 50 to the 45 again. A nice return, about 10 to 12 yards. And that will give the Knights good field position to start off the game. As we see Cameron Ryerson coming into the game for the Knights at the 44-yard line. Ryerson will break the huddle as we see Jackson Ellington to our near side, one-on-one against a receiver. The Crusaders not playing many safeties back, and that ball will be handed off for a loss of 2 as they have 3 backs in the backfield. That run going to Quincy McKay, number 8, the junior. And 2nd and 12 for the Knights. And that ball will be handed off, and that will go to the 45. So that will leave the Knights with a 3rd and 8 on their first possession. The Knights coming off a 48-14 win over the Union Academy Cardinals. Christ the King's only win of the year, also against Union Academy, as that ball will be handed off. He will break 1 tackle, but only for about a gain of 1. And we'll see if the Knights elect to stay onto the field, and it looks like they will stay on in this 4th and 5. Very manageable for the Knights offense. Ryerson in the gun, 1 back behind him, 1 right beside him, as it will be a trick play, and that will get the first down a little more to the 30, 25, cuts back inside to the 20, and a great play call by Bob McKay and crew to get the first down for about a gain of 20. And now it'll be first down. Move the chains. Lincoln Charter, 109 points for, 67 points against. They're on a one-game winning streak after that win against Union Academy last week, as that will be a jet sweep to the outside, and he will get tackled by two Christ the King Crusaders, one of them being Nate Paroli, number 55. Paroli having a great season so far, 11 tackles per game, 7 sacks in total, and averaging 2.3 sacks per game. So definitely a man to watch out for the Crusaders defense, really the marquee player on that defense, and maybe the whole team, maybe besides Nick Wilson. Ryerson will have one wide receiver on this play, 3 backs in the backfield, as he will hand that ball off and get a couple yards on the gain, make something out of nothing to look like he could have been tackled in the backfield right here. And it'll be a third down, as they are definitely in Daniel Schneibel's range. Schneibel, a great kicker for the Knights. And this is a cakewalk from right here from him. But Ryerson will try to advance the first down. 3rd and 5 once more. And he will get tackled for about a gain of 1. And there comes 3 substitutions, but it looks like the Knights offense will stay on the field. Bob McKay feeling risky. Excuse me, never mind. They are going to kick this field goal on the 4th and 4. As Duncan Schneibel will line up right in the middle of the field. No hash marks. 7:27 left in this first quarter of their play. Here comes the hike. Schneibel will boot that through. And that will get the first points of the ball game for either team. The Knights are leading the Crusaders 3-0. We'll be back here in just a minute for some more Lake Norman Charter football. 7:17 left in the first quarter. Knights up 3-0. And we are back as Daniel Schneibel will have another touchback. And the Knights defense will step on the field, trying for another 3-and-out. Nick Wilson and his Christ the King offense not moving the ball. Only averaging 203 yards per game, and that's one of my keys to the game for the Crusaders, is move the ball, get more yards, 203 yards a game. One of Nick Wilson's favorite targets is Jacob Drewski. 158 yards on the season, averaging 52.7 yards per game and 4 total touchdowns. Wilson, a little bit of a high snap, catches it, rolls out to his left, and that will be maybe pass interference. Michael Pasakis, the intended receiver on that one. A bad snap by the Crusaders center. And Wilson had to roll up to the right, but I think he might get the pass interference call. As, yes, they are moving the chains, and that will be a Crusaders first down. That penalty being about 5 or 6 yards. And that will, no, excuse me, 15. It's not for the spot of the foul. 15-yard penalty, excuse me. So that will give the Crusaders their first down of the game. Wilson will drop back, try to find a receiver. He is going deep. He has a man. Wait, get there. Oh, just over the head of Will Critter. as he tried to one-hand OBJ snag that one, but just couldn't get to that one. Critter, not much action on the year. Excuse me, good amount of action. Actually, his second favorite target, yards-wise, 113 yards, 37.7 yards per game, 2 touchdowns for the senior. So it'll be a 2nd and 10 now for the Crusaders. 7:05 left in the second quarter. As Wilson will have a fullback and a running back behind him. One receiver to both of his sides as that ball will be handed off and tackled behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 2. So it'll be a 2nd and 12 for the Christ the King Crusaders. One of the things Lake North Charter needs to do in this first half, in this game, is have a big first half. They're averaging 17 points in the first half. Christ the King Crusaders only averaging 7. So if they can jump out to an early advantage, that would help them. As Wilson will break the huddle. The defense has 2 safeties back. In the I formation once more. The Crusaders really like that. And Wilson will drop back, and that will be a good pass and tackle at about the 49-yard line. And they'll spot it at the 50. Excuse me, at the 49. And that will go to Jacob Dolsky, one of the men I mentioned that Christ the King will be looking for in this one. So the Crusaders will have the ball in Knights territory. And the I once more. Wilson will roll out, throw a heave. Will he have a, just out of the outstretched fingertips of his senior receiver Crater. His second target of the game, both being incompletions. And man, if he had him on that one, that might have been 6. So now, 2nd down. Just past the midfield stripe. As a player will motion over, a halfback toss out to the right side, and he will get pushed out of bounds by 2 Knights. And that will give the Crusaders a 3rd down and 9. And that play coming from Evan Blackman, the senior. Ball at the Knights 47. Knights trying to make a stop here and not let the Crusaders keep driving the ball. As Wilson will be under center once again. 2 receivers to his far side and a tight end tucked on that right. He will fake handoff, look for receiver, heave that ball deep. He has a man. Will he get him? Yes, touchdown Crusaders. Nick Wilson airs that ball over the top. And that will be a touchdown for the Crusaders. Jumping out to a 6-3 lead here. We'll see if they can convert the extra point. Having some camera troubles here. We're trying to situate that out.
Crusaders line up for the 2-point conversion.
And the Crusaders will be going for 2. And they will get the 2-point conversion. So they are up on the Knights, 8-3. We'll be back here in just a minute and see if Cameron Ryerson and his offense have anything to say about that. Quincy McKay and Anthony Ryerson will be back to receive this kick from the Crusaders as he will move that ball to about the 20-yard line and will take a hop, and he will receive it at about his own 5-yard line, break a couple tackles, and will be down at about the 15-yard line. Not great special team coverage by the two players back there trying to receive that ball on the run, and neither of them got it. So Cameron Ryerson will have to drive the length of the field for a touchdown. 8-3 ball game, 5:26 left in the first quarter. Two things Christ the King needs to do on defense is get to the QB. They've done a good job at it this year, 3.9 sacks per game. And then force turnovers, averaging 2 turnovers a game as a defense. As Ryerson will hand that ball off for a gain at about 4. 2nd and 6 for the Knights. As we see Anthony Ryerson, one of the Ryerson triplets, all 3 of them scored in their last game, and the 3 Ryersons are a key factor to what LNC does on offense. As now Cam will be in the gun, and that runner will be wrapped up, so it will be a 3rd and long for the Knights. That play drives them back to the original line of scrimmage, so 3rd and 9 or about 3rd and 10. This is the first ever meeting between these two teams. Christ the King, a very young program, only in their 6th season to play, and they had their best season ever last year. And a win here over the Knights would really jumpstart the season after their 1-3 start. Ryerson will drop back, a little screen pass. As he will receive that, he'll be at the 30, now at the 40, he is open, he's at the 40, he's at the 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Knights. He will take it the whole way. As a little slip screen results in a big play, and the Knights regain the lead. As a good play call by Bob McKay and crew on a 3rd down and long, the Crusaders were sending the house, and that is when those screens work best. And Duncan Scheibel will go and try to extend the lead to 2. Right now, a 9-8 ball game due to the Crusaders' 2-point conversion. Duncan will get the snap, and that will be split the uprights and good. So a 10-8 ball game, 3:59 left in the first quarter. Knights back on top after the big slip screen touchdown. And we are back here after Duncan Steibel kicks that one away for his 3rd touchback of the game. And Nick Wilson and the Crusaders offense is back onto the field, trying to repeat what they did last drive, and that being a touchdown plus the 2-point conversion. Wilson with a big throw and what we are seeing here from the Crusaders on their first 2 drives, they love that I formation. What they're going to try to do is the I and let Nick Wilson just roll out and show that cannon off he has. As Wilson will have 3 to his near side, 1 to his far, running back in the backfield. A little bit high snap, he will fire that across the middle. Oh, a big hit, but he still hangs on. A great job by the Crusaders receiver, hanging on to that ball after the big hit from the safety. And Schneibel, the kicker, on that tackle.
The pickup of 20 yards. First and 10, Crusaders at their 40-yard line.
That being a big gain for the Crusaders, 20 yards. And now Wilson will have a fullback, a running back, and then a tight end also in that line, and 2 to his near side. Wilson will take the handoff, roll it to his right, and he's going to air that one deep for number 16. Will get it. Oh, it might be an interception, a flag on the play. The Knights DB comes up with the ball. But I think that might be pass interference, possibly, as a flag did fly. And the whole Knights bench coming down to see what's going on here. And if they will call it an interception, that's a really tough play to call an interception right there. Both guys had the ball. And it looks like the Crusaders offense, oh yes, that's going to be a pass interference on the Knights. And man, that's a close play right there. And that will be the second pass interference call of the game against the Knights. The Knights shooting themselves in the foot with those early here in the game.
First and 10, CTK.
Christ the King will have 2 backs in the backfield. Wilson will hand that ball off up the middle for a gain of about 4. So a second down and 6 now for the Crusaders.
Handoff up the middle to Fausto Arias. Pick up 4 yards on the play. Tackled by...
And Christ the King doing well on getting those offensive yards. As I talked earlier in the broadcast, only averaging 203 yards per game. And they might be at about 100 here early on by the end of this first quarter. 10-8, Knights lead. But the Crusaders in Knights territory. Wilson will roll out to his right, find a receiver a bit high, but a good catch. And the ball is loose. Let's see who has it. As the Crusaders think they have it, and not much contest from the Knights. And the ref's talking about this play. And they will keep the ball with the Crusaders. They say they recover, so now the Crusaders will have the ball at about the
3-yard line.
3-yard line.
First and 10 for the Crusaders.
As that ball will be hit up the middle and tackled by multiple Knights. So now a second down and medium.
No gain, second and 10.
Oh, no gain on the play. Sorry, I was trying to fix the camera while broadcasting. Kind of tricky there.
Against the Crusaders.
And that will be a flag on the play against the Crusaders. That will back them up. And now, first and long. Wilson in the eye. As he will drop back, look for a receiver over the middle. Oh, he was wide open, but just off the fingertips, a little too high. And that looked like a little post over the middle. So a second down and 20, and man, that would have been big if they could have caught that. and got the first down and maybe a little more. As Wilson will break the huddle. And have that eye again. He will roll out, and it'll be a screen pass and a good tackle by a Knight. And it will be about a 2nd and 13. Excuse me, a 3rd and 13. And Jackson Ellington, the junior, on the tackle. As Wilson in the huddle, getting the play call from his offensive coordinator. We see the Knights with 2 safeties back. As we'll see what they roll out here. It looks like they'll have 3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far, and 1 back in the backfield. They really have 2 formations, that I and then this spread out formation they have here. Oh, and it's a high snap over the head of Wilson. He will look to air it out again. Will he find a receiver? Oh, and just short. And it's a great job by Nick Wilson after the bad snap by center over his head, just getting the ball. And an incompletion is about the best thing you can get right there, as anything else might be catastrophic. And maybe a little too far for the Christ the King kicker. So on this 4th and 14, they may be looking to go for it. And yes, the Crusaders offense will stay on the field. The 26-yard line, as it would be about a 40-yarder from right here. A little more. So they elect not to go for it. 4th and 14. Wilson will get the snap, look for a receiver. A high arcing ball into the end zone. Incomplete. And the Knights will get the ball back. A good stand by the defense. And holds Nick Wilson and the Crusaders to 0 points after the Crusaders had that long touchdown. And we see Cameron Ryerson step back onto the field. Last drive with the screen touchdown, probably about an 80-yard touchdown, the longest of the season for the Knights. And Ryerson will be in the gun. We see 1 receiver coming over, but he'll just elect to hand that ball up the middle. He'll get tackled down at the 40-yard line. As we wind into less than a minute here in the first quarter, 40 seconds left. So maybe at 1, possibly 2 plays left. And Ryerson will break the huddle. 2nd and 5. As he will hand that ball to the outside and get back to the line of scrimmage, but nothing more. And that looks like that'll be the final play of the first quarter. So Bob McKay and his staff will have a little time to think about what they want to call on this big 3rd down and 5. We'll be back here for the start of the second quarter. Knights lead the Crusaders early, 10-8. And a 3rd and 5 here to start the second quarter. And that will be a trick play. And will he get the first down? Oh, yes, he will. and move the chains for the Knights. And a big shout out to John Holzel in Bluffton, South Carolina, and watching the broadcast tonight, cheering on the Knights south of the North Carolina border. As Ryerson will hand that ball to the outside, he will break back in, and a good carry for at about a gain of 6. And McKay will pick up the decent carry. And that will be a Christ the King timeout. The defense not having the greatest of times controlling Ryerson in his offense the last 2 drives. We'll be back here in just a minute after the timeout. 11:08 left in the second quarter. Knights up 10-8. And Ryerson in trouble right there, a loss of 3 on the play. And that will give the Knights a 3rd and 7. Let's see if the Crusaders can get a stop. And that will be a fake and a pass over to the far side and be tackled down at the 49 right at the line of scrimmage. We'll see if they give it to him. Maybe the chain gang might have to come out. And that will be a 4th down and inches for the Knights, as we might see Ryerson on a QB sneak or something of that nature right here. As if I was Bob McKay, that's what I would go right here. Ryerson, a very athletic quarterback, and very likely picking up the 1st down on a QB sneak. 4th and 1. We'll see what the Knights do here. As a receiver will motion over. Oh, and a Crusader. Looks like he jumped off sides. And yep, that will give the Knights a 1st down as a big mistake from the Crusaders' defensive end, giving them an easy 1st down. As we see number 1, Jackson Ellington running onto the field. The huddle will break. And Ryerson, 2 men out from the offensive line as he will hand that ball up the middle, break it to the outside, and get it past the 40 and maybe a 1st down as a very good run, and he will get tackled down at the 38-yard line. And that will give the Knights a 2nd down and manageable.
Tackled by Central Plays number 6, Jacob Elsky. Pickup of 8, it'll be 2nd and 2 for the Knights.
And that ball will be handed up, and that will be a Knights 1st down.
Again, the ball carrier will pick up 7.
And a pickup of 7, and a Knights 1st down.
For another late going shorter. Better every time. 1st down. 1st and 10 for the Knights at the 31.
So now Cameron Ryerson in the huddle, brewing up this first down and 10 play call as he will break the huddle. 9:20 left in the second quarter. As Ryerson in the gun, he will motion a receiver over and keep the ball. And he'll pitch it back out, and the receiver will get tackled there, out of bounds for a gain of about 1. Good job by Ryerson keeping that ball and keeping the play alive.
Anthony Ryerson ends up with that ball on the read option, tackled by Christ the Kings number 6, Jacob Belsky. Loss of 4 on the play, 2nd and 14.
That'll be a loss of 4. Just kind of a busted play right there. And now a 2nd and 14 for the Knights. Ryerson in the gun. The Crusaders sending the blitz, as that'll be a screen pass, and he will break that to the left side, get to the line of scrimmage, and maybe a little more, and that will be a Knights first down. As pretty much every time the Crusaders have blitz, the Knights have recognized that, say, hey, you know what, I'm going to send this out to the left side for a little screen, and both times it's worked well. First time was a long touchdown right there, a first down. So now the Knights will have the ball inside the red zone. Good tackle by a Crusader right there.
Living in the Knights backfield, that's a loss for Lakeland Charter. 2nd and 14.
And that'll be a 2nd and 14 for the Knights after that tackle. Sorry on the camera issues on the right side of the field where I'm still trying to figure that out while the game is going on. And that ball will be handed up the middle, and that will be a first down and maybe even more, as he will get tackled down at the 5-yard line. A good play call by McKay and crew. And that will result in a 3rd down and 1, almost getting to that first down marker as yes, they are going to move the chains. And it'll be a 1st and goal for the Knights.
1st and 10, 1st and goal for the Knights from the 6-yard line.
It'll be a 1st and goal for the Knights at the 6. As Ryerson will hand that ball up the middle, and that will be a Knights touchdown. Puts the lead to 16-8. And the Knights have touchdowns on back-to-back drives. And hand that ball up the middle and hope for the best right there. And it worked for sure. And now Duncan Schneibel will come on to kick the extra point. Already 1 good extra point in the game and 1 good field goal. He'll try to make it 2 good extra points right here on this one. Here comes the snap, and the kick will be money. So now the Knights lead 17-8. We're back here in a minute when the Christ the King offense and Nick Wilson will step back onto the field and try to have something to say after Cameron Ryerson puts a touchdown past the Crusaders defense. And Duncan Schneibel getting ready to kick this one away to J.P. Zimmerman, the freshman, Has Schneibel looking for his third touchback of the game. And I wouldn't put it past him as he boots that away, a line drive kick. And Zimmerman will collect that on the hop, a little bit of a bobble. And receive that, gets past the 10. And a good wrap-up tackle by multiple Knights. As he will be down about the 15-yard line. And Nick Wilson will have a long way to go for a Crusaders touchdown. Last time the Crusaders offense stepped onto the field, they went for it on 4th down and 14 in Knights territory and did not get it. 6:42 left in the second quarter, so a lot of time to play with. As Wilson will be in the gun, 2 receivers to his near, 2 to his far, and a back in the backfield. He will snap the ball, drop back, look for a receiver on the right side, air it out, ooh, and overthrow. Hit one of his teammates on the sideline. So a 2nd down and 10 for the Crusaders. And Wilson in the huddle. Getting the play call here on the 2nd down and 10. As Wilson will be in the gun for the 2nd time in a row. We haven't seen much of that tonight, mostly in the I formation for the Crusaders. He will drop back, look for a receiver over the middle. Oh, and intercepted to the 35. And oh, a good interception return there for the Knights. Wilson throwing that ball right to Duncan Schneibel. And he said, thank you very much. I'll return that into the Knights red zone. And tackled about the 15-yard line. Wilson just kind of threw a heave right there. He was rolling out, looking for a receiver, nobody there, threw it into the middle of the field, and he will regret that one. So now the Knights have it deep in Crusaders territory, 17-8, and looking to make it even more. As Ryerson will be in the gun, and hand that ball out to the outside, and ooh, a good tackle by that Crusader as he didn't wrap him up right there. That might have been 6. And James Holla on the tackle right there. And that will give the Knights a 2nd and 13. So they'll have 2 backs in the backfield and a couple tight ends on the offensive line. Hand the ball up the middle. And a nice gain. And that will give them a 3rd and about 6. And now they were at the Crusader 11-yard line. 3rd and 5 for the Knights. And try to cash in their 3rd touchdown in 3 consecutive drives. As I was saying earlier, jump out to a big lead in the first half, and another touchdown would do it. LNC outscoring the Crusaders 10-0 on average this season in the first half. From right now, they're up by 9, so it's about right. Ryerson will look for a receiver in the end zone. Ooh! And he was wide open and short arm that throw. And we'll see if the Knights elect to go for it on this 4th and 5. And man, he was all by himself on a Sunday stroll in the end zone. He just rushed it there. Unfortunate. And Duncan Schneibel will step up onto the field for his 2nd field goal of the game. The first one was good. And he's already had 2 good extra points. And every kickoff he's had has been a touchback. So can't ask for a better night, trying to make it even better. Oh, and it's a fake. He'll roll it to the right, looking for a receiver in the end zone. Touchdown, Knights on the fake. Peach on the fake field goal. And the Knights had some tricks up their sleeve. And Duncan Schneibel said, actually, I'm not going to kick this. I'm not going to kick this, and we'll let the holder throw a touchdown. And that is a big touchdown by the Knights, 23-8, with 5:01 left. in the second quarter, and Sniper will now come back onto the field, trying to attempt the extra point, make it 24-8. And Duncan will not fake it this time, but instead booth out right up the middle. So now 24-8, 5:01 left in the second quarter. Knights up on the Crusaders big with a little time left in the second quarter of play. Stick with us. And Wilson, under gun, 12th and 4, trying to make up for that 4-yard loss, and that won't do much better right there. And that run to the outside, swallowed up for about a gain of 2, so I'll give them a 3rd down and long for the Knights. 3rd down and about 12, as we see if Wilson... And we'll see if Wilson can do something here. We've seen him a lot tonight, rolling out to his right or his left and showing off that cannon and getting a lot of first downs that way. We'll see if he does the same right here. He will break the huddle. And we'll see if they have the I formation set here. 2 receivers to his far side, 1 tight end. Excuse me, 2 tight ends. 1 tight end, 1 fullback, and 1 running back as he will fake the carry, rush by a couple of Knights rolling out, and he will get sacked behind the line of scrimmage. And it will be a 4th down, and the Crusaders will have to punt this ball away.
Nicholas Wilson for a loss.
And now the Crusaders will have to punt this ball away. 4th and 14 as we see Tyler Price stepping onto the field, getting ready to return this one. But before we do that, there will be a timeout. So we'll be back here in just a minute. 3:08 left in the second quarter. 24-8 Knights, and an injured player down. And we are back here after that long break after the injured Knight had to get carted off. Hopefully he is okay and will be able to continue later in the season. We'll see what the injury status is for here. But the Crusaders have a 4th and 14. After that long break, Kyler Price back to return inside the soccer circle. As that ball will be booted away, Price will receive it at the 45 and just go down. Tackled at about the 47. And Cameron Ryerson with 3 minutes left will try to go for 4 straight touchdowns on 4 straight drives right here. As Ryerson and his offense have been dominant the last couple of drives, just putting the ball down the field every time. Last time they had really good field position off the interception, and it looked like they're going to only settle for 3, but the fake field goal resulted in a touchdown. So now Ryerson will break the huddle as QB in the gun with 2 backs in the backfield. Ryerson will hand that ball to the outside. As the ball is out. Excuse me, never mind. Yes. As that will be a gain of about 1. I thought the ball was out there for a second. As that 1-yard carry puts the ball to the 45 of the Crusaders. Ryerson in the gun, 1 receiver to his far side. As he will hand that ball up the middle and almost get the first down. They might move the chains. That is close. Either a 3rd down and 1 or a 1st down. It looks like they're keeping the change right there. So a 3rd down and inches for the Knights. Ryerson will be in the gun. 2 extra blockers right there. And they'll just hand that ball up the middle for a Knights 1st down, a little more, as he will get tackled down at the 27. So move the chains. And the Knights offense keeps looking dominant here on these last couple drives. As Ryerson and the running attack have just really done great. And my final key to the game for the Knights was just overpower the Christ the King offense. And that's what they've been doing this game. They average 116 more yards per game than the Christ the King Crusaders do. And you can see that here. And there will be a timeout. So we'll be back here in just a minute. 1st and 10, 1:57 left. Ryerson with plenty of time to finish off those final 27 yards and finish the first half with a touchdown. 27, 8 Knights, 157. Stay with us for the conclusion of the first half. And the Knights are at the Christ the King 27-yard line, 1st and 10. Ryerson will hand that ball off, and man, he was swallowed up before he could even take a step. And the Knights will have a 2nd and 15 after he was walloped in the backfield. So back him up 5. 1:30 left in the first half, so we might see a little hurry up here from the Knights soon, as we see Jackson Ellington, number 1, running onto the field, getting into the Knights huddle. As Ellington will be to that far side, the only receiver on the field. Ryerson in the gun. Receiver will motion over. Ryerson will roll out, break 1 tackle, and maybe look to run. Yes, he will to the outside. That'll be a 1st down to the 15, to the 10, and pushed out at about the 3 or 4 yard line. Great job by Cameron Ryerson. No option to throw to and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take this myself. And that'll be a Knights 1st down, 1:03 left, and they are all so close to the end zone. At the Christ the King 4-yard line, close to pay dirt. Touchdown here would result in 4 in a row. And man, what a better way to end off the first half than that would have been. So, first and goal from the 4-yard line. Ryerson in the gun with 2 backs in his backfield. As he will hand that ball off. And he will get tackled down at about the 2-yard line. And that will be a timeout. So 52 seconds, 52.3 seconds left. The ball at the 2-yard line on 2nd and goal. So the Knights close to pay dirt. We'll be back here in just a minute to see if the Knights can cash in and extend this lead even more. And we are back here, 52.3 seconds left as Ryerson will hand that ball at the middle. And will he be stopped short? Touchdown, Knights! And that one might put this game out of reach. As it'll be a 30-8 ball game, and a Duncan Schneibel extra point would make it 31-8. The Crusaders, not much time to drive the ball down the field. But we've seen Nick Wilson's big arm, and he can make a play out of nothing. So don't count him out so far in this first half. Cameron Ryerson to hold, Duncan Schneibel to kick. As the snap good, hold is good, and the extra point is even better. So Duncan Schneibel's night keeps on getting better. 31-8, 47.2 seconds left. And Nick Wilson will have limited time to go down the field and see what he can do. We'll be back here in just a minute when the Crusaders have the ball back. And Duncan Schneibel getting ready to kick this one off.
Back for the Crusaders to return number 6.
Going to put this ball on the tee. Looks like the Crusaders will have the ball after a touchback. All but one kickoff have resulted in a touchback from Schneibel. Put the ball at the 40. And he will run up and boot this one away. There it goes. A high kick down to the 20. Oh, and he whiffs it, and he will recover at about the 14-yard line. And man, that could have been bad for the Crusaders. A turnover there would have been very costly. But Nick Wilson will step on. 42.4 seconds left. And about 1 or 2 timeouts. I haven't kept track of that. So we'll see Wilson trying to roll out to either the right or the left. And try to make some magic. Their one touchdown was a long touchdown pass by Wilson that put them in front early on, but they haven't been leading since. As Wilson will just hand that ball up the middle and get tackled by a couple of Knights. clock winds. Under 30 seconds, so it looks like the Crusaders will just maybe take one more play and knee and end the first half down big as they break the huddle. And now we are about 10 seconds in the I formation. One receiver to his both sides as he will just hand the ball off and he'll get tackled, and that will win the first half of play. The Knights with a great first half, up 31-8. We'll be back here for the second half of play. Stick with us. We'll be back here after halftime. And we are back into the second half as Christ the King kicks that ball off. That will be returned at the 30, and it'll get to the 40. And a good return by one of the middlemen in that Lake Norman Charter kickoff coverage. Charter off to a big lead here starting the second half, 31-8. As Cameron Ryerson steps back onto the field and trying to make this 5 consecutive touchdowns for the Knights offense. As man, they've just been steamrolling over the Christ the King Crusaders defense here lately. As that ball be handed off to the outside to the 50 and a first down and more to the 40, to the 30. He'll be pushed out of bounds. And man, what a way to start off the first half of play. As now they are in Crusaders territory. And a Knights first down. So move the chains for the Knights in a long gain for the offense. One of many tonight. And now they are on the Crusaders' 38-yard line of play. As that ball will be handed off for about a gain of 2. As we see number 27 for the Knights, the freshman Tyler Price stepping onto the field, the wide receiver. We've seen him mostly this year as a return/punt returner man, but now getting some action at receiver. That will be a inside handoff, a good trick play, and he will go down to the 30 and step out of bounds. It'll be about a third down, or with 2 and 3 yards to go on the Knights' first drive of the second half. We'll see what Bob McKay and the coaching staff comes up with here on the 3rd and 4.
From the Crusader 30-yard line.
At the Crusaders' 30-yard line, they will break the huddle. 2 receivers to the near side, 2 to the far. Ryerson in the gun with a back in the backfield. A receiver will motion over, and he will get the snap, roll to his left, and he is going to take that himself for a nice first down, and he will go out of bounds with a business decision. So move the chains for the Knights. And that'll be a pickup of 7. And a 1st and 10 for the Lake Norman Charter Knights. Ryerson will break the huddle. Touchdown here would result in 5 in a row. As that will be a handoff up the middle. He will break 1 tackle and try to bounce to the outside, then go back to the inside. A great job just making something out of nothing, and that's a decent gain. It will give the Knights a 2nd down and short. As number 27, Tyler Price, will step back onto the field. And Ryerson in his huddle. Ryerson will break the huddle at the Crusaders' 18-yard line. In the gun, he will motion a receiver over, and he will take that ball himself up the middle, break it to the outside, break 1 tackle. We won't break a second, but that'll be enough for a Knights first down. So the Knights just keep moving the ball down the field and showing their offensive prowess here in this one. The Knights had 48 points as an offense in their last game, and man, they might go over it here tonight. The 2 games before that, they only amounted for about 25 points. So in these last 2 games, doubling, maybe even tripling what they got in the other 2 games. As Ryerson will motion a receiver over. That will be handed up to the middle, and that will be a touchdown, Knights. The Knights extend their lead even more, and that will make it a 37-8 ball game. And pending a Duncan Schneibel extra point, making it even more.
14-yard run.
And a 14-yard run. Now Schneibel will come out to kick the extra point. And man, just a great night for the offense. Has 5 consecutive touchdowns by the offense. And the Christ the King defense just has no answer for the Charter rushing attack. And that will be right up the middle. So now a 38-8 ball game. Knights lead by 30. We'll be back here in just a minute to see if the Crusaders can mount a comeback of some sort. And now Schneibel with the kickoff. Big shout out to John Halsbull in South Carolina supporting the Knights south of the border. Thank you for coming on the stream tonight. Watching me and the Lake Charter Knights as Schneibel will kick this ball away, and man, he has a leg, and that'll be another touchback all the way off to the soccer goal behind the play of field. So now Nick Wilson will come on for his first drive of the second half. Christ the King Crusaders started off red hot, leading 8-3 in this ball game and haven't scored points since, as the Knights offense 5 touchdowns in a row. And Nick Wilson not having the greatest games after that long touchdown pass, throwing 1 interception to Duncan Schneibel. Schneibel returned that for about a 20-yard return, and the Knights later got the touchdown off the fake field goal. So Wilson will hand this ball off, and for a loss of about 2, maybe 3 yards as the runner gets tripped up there. And Mike Pisakis on the run. So that will back them up even more. And that's just something that can't happen down 30. You gotta strike while the iron's hot and not much time left. So a 2nd and 12. Wilson under center in the I formation. 1 tight end and 1 receiver to the near side. As that will be a little jet sweep, and a couple of Knights get the tackle right there. And that will back them up even further. So it'll be a 3rd down and very long for the Crusaders. And you have to think if they don't get it here, they might have to go for it on 4th down, as they're in desperation mode, just trying to get any points they can. So if I'm Coach Rhodes on the Crusaders sideline and you don't pick up this 3rd down and 12, I'm saying, hey, you know, Nick Wilson, I trust your arm, throw it deep and hope for the best and see what happens, because down by 30, you got to see what happens. Just punting away ain't going to do anything, especially how good this Knights offense has been. Wilson, a bit of a high snap, will corral it. Look deep as he has a receiver, and that'll be incomplete, as he wants a flag on the play, but no pass interference. Some Crusaders fans not very happy about that. But the ref says, no sir, not today, as that is good coverage by the Knights. And Wilson will stick onto the field as he just tried to air that one out and trust his receiver, but that didn't work. And the punt team will come onto the field, and Price standing inside the Crusader zone. That's just something you don't want to see if you're a Christ the King fan right now. Punting the ball, I mean, down by 30, of course you don't want to punt the ball, and then especially when the Knights get the ball in your own territory. Might a little fake here, but no, he'll just punt that away. Tyler Price will receiver. He'll fair catch it, dive, and get it. A little bobble there, but in the end, he'll get it. That's all that matters. And he'll be down at the 45, so Cameron Ryerson will come back onto the field. And a touchdown here would be 6 in a row for the Knights offense. And this game is already pretty much out of reach, and one more touchdown, man, that'd just be a nail in the coffin. The nail is probably already in the coffin, but that just bury him 6 feet under for sure. So Ryerson will break the huddle at the Crusaders 45. He is in the gun. 2 tight ends, 2 backs in the backfield. He will hand that ball off and juke one defender. Almost a strip by a Crusaders defender, but the running back will be tackled down at the 40. And a gain of 4, so 2nd down and 6 for the Knights. As Ryerson in the huddle, he will break it. And he'll have 1 receiver to his far and 2 to his near, 1 back in the backfield. Crusaders look like they are sending the blitz. And they will. Ryerson will go over to the right side. And a good catch. To Quincy McKay. And actually, Bryson Harvey is into the game right now as they're up by a lot. That's a short gain of 3, so a 3rd and 3 for the Knights. As Ryerson will take a break, and we see Tyler Price stepping onto the field. We'll break the huddle. 3rd down and 3, 3rd down, 6:23 left in the 3rd quarter. Knights up 38-8. As the receiver will motion over, roll out to his left, throw it, and that will be short as he got hit as he threw that one, and short of his receivers. Looks like the Knights will boot it back away and try to pin the Crusaders deep into their territory. And it looks like the offense is staying on the field on this 4th and 3. As we see Evan Blackman and number 6, Avery Wilkerson, both coming on for this 3rd down and 3. As, yes, they are going for it. As that'll be hand up the middle, and that'll be a nice 1st down and a little more as he'll be tackled down at the 30-yard line. And the Knights move the chains as we continue seeing just the Crusaders defense have nothing to say for this charter rushing attack, as that's what they do best. As a player coming in for the Knights. Man, the Ryerson just dominating. So far this year, 601 total yards between the triplets. And the collective of them have dominated this one, as that'll be a handoff, and he'll get tackled down at the 30. Maybe a gain of 1. So he's 2nd and 9 for the Crusaders. And that will be a timeout by Christ the King. 2nd and 11. We'll be back here in just a minute. 5:29 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Stick with us for some more Lake Charter football action. And we're back here with the Knights, second down and 11. It'll be a trick play, run up the middle to the outside to the left, and she'll cut back inside and get a little more, and that'll be a Knights first down. And Quincy McKay, the ball carrier on that one. As McKay with a good first down. Oh, and actually he'll be stopped just short, so it'll be a third down and 1 for the Knights, and they're definitely in Duncan Schneibel's range. And that'll be a 10-yard gain, so stop 1 yard short. And they're at the Crusaders' 20-yard line. 4:47 left in the third quarter as the Knights huddle will break. Two backs in the backfield, the quarterback in the gun. That'll be a handoff up the middle, and that will be a Knights first down. Move the chains, and a 6th touchdown in a row. Does look very possible right about now. James Holland on the tackle. Holland having a good game. One of the few Christ the King Crusaders that have had a few games, especially on that defense. Now the Knights on the Crusaders 18. As we see, number 88, Carter DeVal, the sophomore, stepping onto the field. A tall boy, 6'3". That's why he has that tight end number, can get to those high passes. A wide receiver will motion over, and they'll decide to give that ball at the middle as we tackle for about a gain of 2. And lucky just to get to the line of scrimmage and even more. Looks like he was going to be wrapped up very before that.
That might be in the way. You might want to scoot it up.
And now they're at the 18-yard line, 2nd and 9. And the Knights huddle will break. Christ the King with nobody deep. Looks like they might send the blitz here. Wide receiver motioned over. QB will drop back to pass. See somebody in the end zone. Touchdown, Knights! And to add on even more from a 30-point lead, extends it to 36. Bryson Harvey with his first touchdown pass of the year. The backup to Cameron Ryerson. And it feels good to get that one under his belt. So it's now 44-8 Knights. And a Duncan Schneibel extra point will make it 45. As, man, the Knights have yourself a day. As you can't ask for a better game than this. Everyone has played great. The defense only allowing 8 points on that long touchdown earlier in the game. And just the offense, 6 straight touchdowns on 6 straight drives by the offense. I mean, the Christ the King Crusaders have nothing to say about the Knights offense, and that one will be good. So now 45-8, 3:21 left in the third quarter. Stick with us. Crusaders and Nick Wilson coming back onto the field. We'll see if the Knights defense can stay as well as they've been all game. Try to keep this to 45-8. Hostile areas back to return for the Crusaders. Duncan Schneibel getting ready to boot this away. Puts the ball at his own 40-yard line. Ball spotted at the 40, and he will boot that one away. As that ball sails through the night sky and out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. So Nick Wilson will step back onto the field at about the same position he's had it every single time. Schneibel just keep getting these touchbacks.
Crusaders start this set of downs. 1st and 10 from their 20-yard line.
1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. The defense trying to make another stand right here. As Wilson's offense will come out down 45-8. As he has two receivers to his near side, and he will be under center. And that ball will be handed off up the middle for a decent gain, about 5 yards. As you see, a 2nd and 5 here for the Crusaders. Peyton Adams on the tackle. As Wilson will hand that ball off, and the runner with a nice gain there, and that'll be a Crusaders first down. A couple good jukes moves in that. Hostile Arias with the run. And first down, Crusaders. As we wind down in this 3rd quarter, 2:25 left. And Wilson will break his huddle, 2 to his far side, 2 to his near. And 1 back in the backfield. Knights looking at a 4-man rush, 2 linebackers. And they'll have 1 free edge. And that ball will be heaved deep. And that will be incomplete. As it looked like the Crusaders wide receiver might have came down with that. As a risky throw by Wilson, they were thrown into double coverage. And that could have been bad and resulting in his 2nd interception of the game. And Evan Blackman on the coverage right there. Blackman, a senior. Not a very big kid, 5'11", 135, but definitely can fly around the field and make plays like he just did right there. A very good DB for the Knights. So Wilson under center, back in his I formation that the Crusaders offense loves. And that'll be handed off. And he makes 1-man miss. And a great job by the Crusaders running back, just not letting a negative gain right there. Nuking out some men and then getting about a 2 or 3 yard gain. So now 3rd down and 5. And definitely 4 down territory for the Crusaders. Back in the eye on this 3rd down and 5. Wilson will drop back, look for somebody on the right side of the field, roll out, and he will get sacked by the Knights D-line. And that's one thing that he definitely couldn't take there is a sack, and that will leave the 4th down, a very long one for the Crusaders, a 4th and 10. And man, if you're Wilson there, you just want to throw that ball away. Actually, it'll be a 4th and 7. If you're Wilson right there, you just want to throw that ball away because that makes this 4th down even harder. And if you're Crest team, you definitely have to go for it here. Wilson back in the eye, 2 to the near side of the camera and 1 to the far. As Wilson will roll out, look for a minute. Oh, and he will get sacked by the Knights, and that will be a fumble. As the Knights have their 2nd turnover of the game. That is Wilson's 2nd as well. 1 interception and 1 fumble. As he just couldn't do anything right there. By the time he could look up and try to find a receiver to get, there's about 4 or 5 Knights running at him. Just a breakdown by the Crusaders' offensive line. And a touchdown here by the Knights would be 7 in a row by the offense. And man, that would just be astounding if they could make 7 in a row. Especially with a backup QB in. The backup QB throwing a touchdown on the last drive. So I have 1 tight end, and then 3 in the backfield as he will hand that ball up the middle. Cut back inside. There's a nice gain by the Knights as he is stopped short of the 1st down marker. That'll give them a 2nd down and short, about 2 yards. As we wind down here in this 3rd quarter, about 15 seconds left, and that might be the last play. As the Knights in the huddle, and yes, they are walking back over to their sideline. And that will be the last play of the third quarter. Knights up 45-8. Stick with us for the final quarter of play. See if the Knights can extend their lead, or the Crusaders can mount a little bit of a comeback. And we are back here in the fourth quarter. It'll be a 2nd down and 5 after Crusader 24. 45-8 Knights. And a touchdown here would be 7 in a row for the offense. And that'll be a handoff up the middle for a gain of nothing. It's going to be a 3rd down and 5. As man, what a night for the Knights. Because right now they're ranked 281 in the state, and after this, I can see them cracking in that 260 range after a big win over Christ the King. Christ the King had about the same amount of a win over Union. LNC beat Union 48-18, and then Christ the King beat them 42-14. But here just blows them out. And kind of an expected win coming into this one. Lindenwood Charter was definitely favored, but Christ the King gave them a scare there in the first quarter, jumping out to that 8-3 lead after that big Nick Wilson touchdown. But then the Knights coming down, scoring 6 straight touchdowns. And the running back will be wrapped up right there. Has a little extra activity after the play, and some of the Knights on the sideline asking for a flag there, but they won't get it. So now Duncan Schneibel will come and attempt this field goal, and he's been money tonight. As we'll see where he lines up to kick this one. 4th and 5. 39-yard field goal for Duncan Schneibel. And timeout by the Crusaders, maybe trying to ice them a little bit. As the Knights huddle up before the field goal attempt by Schneibel, 45-8. This would make it a 40-point ball game. And this would definitely be the Knights' biggest win of the year. The first 2 wins of the season for them were close games. First one against Southlake, 36-29, amounted into the biggest comeback in Lake Norman Charter history. And then Winston-Salem Prep, a 16-6 win. And then the third one coming to Union last week. Hope you guys tuned into that one. 4th and 3. As Duncan Schneibel will have this 39-yard attempt. Schneibel on the left hash mark. Schneibel, great kicker. That ball is up a line drive. And no good as he pushed it a little left. As man, that just misses left. As that left hash mark comes into play right there. So Duncan Schneibel not being able to convert, but the Knights still up big. We'll be back here up 37. The Crusaders have the ball back. And the Crusaders back on the field at the Knights' 32-yard line. It's about the best field position they've had all night, as that'll be a run for about 1 yard.
Inside handoff.
As come back next Friday night, as we have another Lake Norman Charter home game, their third in a row, as in many weeks. They play Beargrass Charter. The Bears are 1-3 on the year. We'll see if the Knights can win that one. That is a pass over to the left side for a gain of 3. So it looks like the Knights will be 4-1 going into that game against Beargrass. After that one, they play CSD away, then Pine Lake Prep at home. The final game of the year, they travel to Mount Island Charter, Mount Holly, on the 29th of October. So yes, 2 more broadcasts this year. Beargrass on the 8th of October, then Pine Lake Prep on the 22nd. That Beargrass game on the 8th will not be next weekend. Next Friday night will be the Friday night after that. So the Knights have a bye week after this game. And tape will be good to watch for the Knights. There's really no issues tonight on either side of the ball. I mean, Knights offense, 6 straight touchdowns. Knight defense only allowing 8 points. I mean, what can you ask from a team better than this? As it'll be 4th and 2 now for the Crusaders. As we see Wilson under center to hand that ball off. Oh no, he won't. He'll keep it himself. And that will be a sack and a turnover on downs. As that Knights defensive line keeps getting to Wilson. As we've seen these last couple of possessions, the Christ the King offensive line just hasn't been able to keep up with that big and fast Knights D-line. So now great field position. 8 minutes and 1 second left in the 4th quarter, 45-8. And they will start with the ball just outside of the red zone. As we see number 15, Jason Wignott, the senior, number 27, Tyler Price stepping onto the field for this 1st down and 10. Knights QB in the gun. He will hand that ball off, juke that inside. Break 1 tackle, break another tackle. He'll stay on his feet. And a great job staying up, and that will be a gain of 5. Anthony Ryerson on the tackle, one of the Ryerson triplets. Pickup of 7, a great job by Ryerson right there. Looked like it was about a gain of 0, and then just juked some guys out, kept on his feet. And in the end, now a 2nd down and 3. As we see one Knight going off the field, but the Knights will ask for a timeout to stick with us. The Knights into the red zone. 7:15 left in the 4th quarter. Knights up 45-8. And we are back. The Knights have the ball on the Crusaders' 16-yard line. Oh! And a fumble right there as the running back tackled before he could even get the ball. As the Christ King D-line getting there in a jiffy. So now it'll be a 3rd down and long. We might see Duncan Schneibel coming back onto the field to almost redeem himself after that miss, but he's played a great game tonight on the defense side of the ball and kicking, so nothing to redeem himself of tonight. And here's the huddle on the 3rd down and 9. As we'll have 2 to the near, 2 to the far, and 1 back in the backfield. Crusaders look like they might be sending the blitz. One receiver will motion over. He'll give it to him, and oh man, he's thrown back to the 42-yard line, and man, this is going to be a long attempt for Duncan Schneibel now. After that big loss, maybe about 6 or 7 yards. So Schneibel's never going to have to put a leg into this one. Loss of 6. Nathan Peroli on the tackle. One of those guys I was mentioning earlier. That was going to be a big factor. Peroli averaging 11 tackles a game and 2.3 sacks a game. Schneibel. This will be a long one. The snap. The hold. The kick. It is no.